Christina Whiteley here, realtor with Fabulous Homes Colorado, powered by Keller Williams Freedom. And this is Fabulous Neighbors of Colorado, where we feature local businesses and entrepreneurs. And today I'm so lucky, I'm sitting with the lovely Melissa Snow. She is the owner of Melissa M. Snow Life Coach. Hi, Melissa.
Hello, hi.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
So probably a lot of people are like me and they don't know, what is a life coach?
Yeah, that's a great question because I think there's a lot of misconceptions about what a life coach actually does. So the short version of the answer is that a life coach helps you to get from where you are now to where you want to be, and helps you figure out what the obstacles are in your way and how to overcome those obstacles. So they're a part cheerleader, part mentor, part sounding board, part friend who will call you out when you need them to. So a life coach does a lot of different things depending on what it is that you're trying to achieve. So there's business coaches, there's wellness coaches, there's coaches who will help you with weight loss, help you with your relationships, help you to succeed in your business. So there's all different kinds of coaches. The biggest difference I tell people between like having therapy and having a life coach is that therapy is typically a lot more focused on your past and how did you get to this point and why is your life the way that it is now. And life coaching is a lot more focused on how do we move forward from this point. Where are you now? Where do you want to be? And how do we get you there?
Okay, that's really cool because it started like in California, kind of started hearing, I have a life coach, and now it's in Colorado, you're here.
Yeah.
So that's neat, that's interesting. So who needs a life coach?
I would say probably everyone needs a life coach.
I do.
I think we all have things. I mean, I am a life coach and I have a life coach. I have two actually. I have a business coach and a life coach. And I think everybody needs one if they have something in their life that they are hoping to achieve or something in their life that's just not working for them and they're kind of at a loss as to why or how to move forward or how to get the most out of life and what they want. I think there's a common misconception that life coaches are just for like CEOs or executives or people who are trying to up-level in their business. And really, there's life coaches out there who can help you with anything that you are facing in your life. And it may be something that you can figure out on your own, but you're probably going to do it by trial and error. And it's probably going to take you a lot longer and a lot more effort and a lot more hardship typically than if you're working with somebody who's been where you are and who knows and has gone through the trial and error for you already and can tell you exactly, you know, what you need to work on and what you need to do in order to achieve what you want to do. So I would say anybody who is interested in moving forward in any area of their life, in changing any area of their life, even somebody who just like, my life is pretty good, I have the job, I have the house, I have the family, I just want to feel happier or feel more fulfilled or have more joy or more gratitude, even that kind of thing is something that a life coach can help you with. So it doesn't necessarily need to be like, I think a lot of times when we think of a life coach, we think like, I'm 40 or 50 and I've been in this career my whole life and now I don't know what to do. I'm having this midlife crisis and I need someone to help me figure it out.
Yeah.
And really, life coaches can help you with anything that it is that you are dealing with or trying to move forward with or trying to overcome obstacles in.
That's really cool because sometimes you need help to get to the next level in any area of your life, but you don't need to look back at the past and what happened. You know what I mean? Like we had talked about this at coffee and I'm like, that was one thing I didn't like when you go to therapy and they're like, what happened when you were 5? I don't remember. And I don't want to think about that because I've moved on. I want to go further. You know what I mean? So
right. And the reality is, I think we talked about this too, like it may be that your self-esteem is the reason that you're having a hard time in your relationship. And we could look at all the reasons that your self-esteem is the way that it is right now. We could look at how you never felt like you were good enough for your dad, how your mom wasn't very nurturing, how your sister excelled in all these things that you didn't, how you had a boyfriend who was abusive or whatever it was that took its toll on your self-esteem. We can talk about all that.
Right.
But knowing why you have low self-esteem isn't going to help you necessarily to move forward into this new space. So there is definitely a time and a place for how did I get here, and I think that piece is really important. But then once you figure that out and you're at that space and you're ready to move forward, then what do you do?
Exactly. No, I completely agree. And I think it's really cool that there are different kinds, like you said, a career, relationship, which is what you are, and, you know, so that way you know who to call.
Yeah.
It's really cool. It's neat. I had no idea when I met you a few weeks ago what a life coach was. So I've been talking about you. So
Awesome.
I thought it was neat. I told Jennifer when she came today, I'm like, do you know what a life coach is? Because I do. And it's really cool. So why did you become a life coach? You have a very interesting story.
Yeah, I became a life coach. I spent the first part of my life, I would say the first, like, all my teens and 20s, being really unhappy, but I didn't really realize it. Like, I was really good at putting on the front. I was really good at looking like I was doing all the things that a grown-up was supposed to do, and all of these things should be making me happy, and so I look like I'm happy. But on the inside, I just felt really bad about myself. And I didn't realize that all of these choices that I was making in relationships were because I didn't feel good about myself. I thought I was just one of those people that attracted losers. Like, I don't know why I don't know how to pick them. Sure. I don't know why I am falling in love with someone who is already married to someone else. I don't know why I think that these guys are going to be great and I go out with them and, you know, maybe we sleep together and then I think they're going to love me the next day and they don't.
Yeah.
And I didn't know, I thought that all of this that was happening was completely outside of me.
Sure.
And so I got to a point in my life around the age of 27 where I just completely hit rock bottom. Like, I made a lot of really bad choices that I thought were good choices at the time.
Sure.
And was able to trick my brain into thinking things that got me feeling the way that I wanted to. Like, as long as it makes me feel better about myself, as long as it makes me feel like I have some sort of value and worth and makes me feel better than I do on my own, then sign me up for it. Sure. And I just got to the point where I had made so many of these choices that it was literally my rock bottom.
Yeah.
And, you know, I lost my job, I lost my house, I lost most of my friends, I didn't have the relationship that I wanted, and I was pretty miserable. And so from that point on, I just had to figure out how to work myself back into a new life. Yeah. And decide who I wanted to be and what I wanted my life to be. And I had a lot of people to help me with that. But one of the most influential person was a life coach that I met that I took a class from. And she told me two things. I had lost my job as a teacher and I was devastated about that because all I ever wanted to do was be a teacher. And this life coach told me, you're still going to be a teacher, it's just not going to look the way that you thought.
Absolutely.
And the other thing she told me is that the issue at this point is no longer all of these bad choices that you've made, it's what you're continuing to tell yourself about those choices and the story that you've got running in your head about what that means for you and for your future. Mm-hmm. And that was the day that I kind of realized, like, it doesn't have to be as hard as I'm making it. Yeah. And so I started to learn from her really what a life coach was and what a life coach did. I worked with her for a long time in changing my mindset and changing my thoughts around my own self and my own worth and my life and realizing how much control I really did have over things that were happening. And it made such a big impact on me that I just knew that I wanted to do the same thing for other women. So I learned to be a life coach from this same life coach that I took that class from, and just have kind of made it my mission in life to help women figure out specifically why their relationships aren't going the way that they want them to. So I specialize mostly in helping women who are in relationships and are trying to decide if they want to stay in them or not. Okay. Women who want to leave relationships but they're not sure how, or they're afraid to be alone, or they have decided they want to leave but they're still there and they don't know why. Mm-hmm. And I also do a lot of work with women who feel like everything else in their life is going really well, but their relationship just isn't what they want it to be and they can't figure out why. Yeah. And also with women who are single or who are dating and feel like they are just destined to be alone. They don't know why they attract the types of men that they attract. I get a lot of clients who tell me they're just bad pickers.
Unlucky in love.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just a bad picker. I don't know why I'm just a bad picker. He looks good on the surface and then it ends up that he's not every single time. And so I work with those women to help them figure out, where are you at now? how did you get here? Where do you want to be? Like, what are the goals that we're trying to achieve? And then what are the obstacles that are standing in our way? And usually the obstacles are thoughts that my clients are having about themselves, about men, about relationships, about the world. And then we work through those thoughts and figure out how those thoughts are serving them or not serving them and how to move forward from there.
That's really cool because I hear that all the time. I just pick the losers. But you don't have to when you figure out.
Right, and when you phrase it that way, like, I just have bad luck in love, or I just always pick losers, or I don't know why I attract these types of men. All of those statements mean that the control is completely outside of you. Like,
Right.
I'm just here doing what I know how to do, and this stuff is just happening to me, and there's nothing I can do about it.
Right.
And the awesome thing is, once my clients realize that it is totally within your control, then that means that the opportunity to change it is also within your control.
Yeah.
Because if it really doesn't have anything to do with you, then you're helpless. There's nothing you can do about it. You're just destined to sit here and be miserable.
Right.
But once you realize that it is within your control, that you're creating the current result, then you know that you also have the power to create the new result. And that's a really freeing realization for a lot of people.
I love that. I think that's really neat.
Yeah.
Empowering your clients. So.
Yeah, it's fun too. That's, I think, one of the other biggest differences of therapy and coaching. Like, I had a lot of therapy and I would not ever call it fun.
No, I've never enjoyed being on that couch.
No, but coaching actually is really fun. Like, it's almost becomes a game of like seeing your mind and what your mind is doing and how your mind is trying to trick you and ways that your mind thinks that it is keeping you safe when really it's just keeping you stuck. And it is really fun once you start to get into it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
So what does a session look like?
So for me, I mean, it kind of depends on what it is that my client's wanting to achieve. But like I kind of talked about before, the big focus for me is in this idea that you're getting the result that you're getting because of thoughts that you're having. So I believe that the thoughts that you are having are causing you to feel a certain way. And you are taking action from that feeling. So when we show up to a situation and we're feeling nervous, or we're feeling scared, or we're feeling just not good enough, we're going to show up to that event or that situation in a certain way because we're feeling that way.
Sure.
And when we show up to that situation in that way, we're going to get a certain result. And so our thought is what's creating our result, because it's creating our feeling, which is dictating our action, which is getting our result.
Yeah.
And so learning to change the thought that you're having to feel a different way, which then causes you to show up in a different way, which then gets you a completely different result. And it's not necessarily about like manifesting or like, you know, I've told people before, like, I can stand in front of the mirror and say 100 times, I'm skinny, I'm skinny, I'm skinny. It's not going to change the size of my body. But it's more about what thoughts can you find that you do believe that are going to cause you to feel a certain way. And the really fun thing is, I was just talking to some friends about this morning, is that, like, I have a friend who's doing really well in her business right now. Like, she's getting a lot of clients. She does multi-level marketing, so she signed up a bunch of people underneath her. She's feeling really confident and really good about herself and her business. And what I was telling her was, right now you're believing that these clients and these people who have signed up are what's causing you to feel confident and good about yourself and your business. But really what's causing that feeling is the thought that you're having about it. And what if you could create that feeling of confidence and certainty about yourself, regardless of whether you have clients or not? Like, what if you could still find a way to feel that way, to feel confident and certain about yourself, just with your own thoughts, even if you're not getting any new clients? And so that's a lot of what I focus on, is like, how do we help you to feel good about yourself, whether you're single, whether you're in a relationship, whether you're happy in your relationship? How do we get it going on in here so that nothing that's outside of you has the ability to really impact how you feel about yourself?
Takes a lot of discipline, doesn't it?
It takes a lot of practice, because for a lot of us, we have the beliefs already. Like, I believe that I'm an excellent life coach. I know that I am. I have evidence of it. I've been doing it for a long time. I know I'm good.
Yeah.
But there's still times that I forget to believe that that I let these other thoughts creep in of like, other people are better at this than you. People aren't going to want to pay for what you have. You know, these like,
oh yeah, we all have that
devil on the shoulder thoughts.
Well, it's easier to believe the bad than the good. I think, you know, like Julia Roberts in Pretty Woman, I mean, it's the perfect line. It's easier to believe the bad than the good about yourself.
Yeah.
I don't remember that line.
Yeah.
I'll have to rewatch that movie. That's a good one.
Yeah, because it's easier to
You're
sit
right.
comfortable.
You're absolutely right.
It's more comfortable
Yeah.
to believe the bad than it is the good.
Yeah.
When you don't have that confidence.
Right.
It's interesting. It's kind of like reprogramming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of it is just remembering to believe thoughts that you already have. Because when you let that other voice come in, then you're like, I mean, it sounds really real. It sounds really true. Like,
Yeah.
oh, you're right. There are way better life coaches out there. I shouldn't even try to do this. But when I remember the things that I already believe, that I am an excellent life coach, this is what I was made for, that I've already helped so many people, then I'm showing up in a completely different way than when I let these other thoughts in.
Right, your confidence is back.
Yeah.
And it comes out. No, you're absolutely right. We all get in slumps and need to be pulled out sometimes. So.
Yeah, so that's a lot of, I mean, my sessions are different depending on how my client's showing up that day, what it is that they want to work on, what they think is going on with them, or whatever their concern is. But it typically always comes back to how are your thoughts creating your results, and how can we change those around to where you're getting the result that you want. And it takes a lot of practice. It takes a lot of evaluating, like, why don't I, if I know this stuff, if I know that my thoughts are creating my result, then why do I still not have the result that I want? And looking back and evaluating what you've been doing and how can we tweak that and do it a little bit differently next time. And then we'll evaluate again. Did you get the result that you wanted? If not, why not? And we just keep going until you get to the point that you have the result that you want.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I really like that. You're a neat lady.
Thank you.
I really
Thank you.
enjoyed our coffee, and I was excited to see you today because it's just so interesting to me. It's just mind-blowing to me because I'd never heard of such a thing, and when I did, I didn't know what it was, and it was just, it's so cool. I
Yeah.
think it's neat. You're
Thanks.
changing lives.
Thank you.
How, so do they have college courses on this? I mean, how do you learn what you need to tell your clients? How do you know that?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. And I would tell everyone out there who's considering hiring a life coach to get on a call with them first
Okay.
and really get into some stuff with them, even like a sample coaching call, and really find out, does their style meet yours? Do you feel like you can relate to them? Do you think that they know what they're talking about? Does it seem like they can help you? Because coaching is not regulated like being a therapist or being a doctor is. There's not certain requirements, there's not certain certifications, there's not any kind of requirement for continuing education. So you really could go out tomorrow and call yourself a life coach and try to help people. I'm not sure you'd get very far. But that's part of the misconception about life coaches, because it's not regulated, that we're all just these random people that are like, I know some things, I'll life coach you.
I'll just give you my opinion and
Yeah.
charge you for it.
Right,
So they
right,
should
exactly.
interview and really choose who's the right fit.
Yeah, absolutely. So I am certified. I did go through a certification
Okay.
program to learn to coach and to learn.
I didn't even know those existed. That's why I was wondering. I didn't even know.
Yeah.
It's mind-blowing, isn't it? It's interesting.
Yeah. So I am certified, and most coaches are, but even the certification programs aren't regulated. So you want to be careful about that too, that you make sure that you find somebody, like I said, whose approach is very similar and resonates with you, because there's a lot of different approaches to coaching,
Okay.
and you just have to find the one that works for you.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much for
Yeah,
coming
thank
on
you.
with us and educating us.
Absolutely.
We'll definitely have all of Melissa's information in the description below, so you can reach out to her, because everybody needs a life coach.
Yes, everyone does.
I'm thinking of a few. I'm like, I'm going to give your number out. Whether or not they'll call, I don't know. But next time somebody calls with a problem, be like, you need to call Melissa.
Yeah. Well, and that's a really good point too. I think a lot of people have fear and shame around reaching out to somebody like me. Like, we like to look, especially women, especially moms, we feel like we have pressure to look like we have it all together, like we have it all figured out, and being able to admit that I am struggling, or that this aspect of my life is not going the way that I want it to, or just that I need help being a little bit happier. Like I was saying, we feel like I have the house, I have the kids, I have the dog, I have the husband, like I have nothing to be sad about. Why am I not the happiest person in the world? And we feel, if there is anybody watching this, or friends that you have, or anybody, and they're feeling like they have fear around reaching out or shame or whatever, number one, it's totally confidential. I abide by the same rules that therapists do, so I'm not going to tell anybody that you called me or what we talked about. And the other thing is too, like, all it takes is just that first step. Like, get on the phone with me, see how easy I am to talk to, see if you believe that I really can help you, because I know that I can, and then just take it from there. But what's mind-blowing to me is how much of my life I spent thinking that life was really hard.
Sure.
And being sad and being unfulfilled and not feeling gratitude and not feeling joy.
Right.
And now that I'm at this other place as this other person with this current life, I just want so badly for everyone else to have that too. To be able to live the rest of their life with this joy and this gratitude, and realizing that it doesn't have to be as hard as we're making it.
I think that's where you hit the nail on the head. Life is hard.
Yeah.
It's how much harder you make it yourself.
Absolutely.
No, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, I love that, and life's too short, so
That's true.
it's never a bad thing to ask for help.
Absolutely.
Well, we'll definitely have all your information in the description below so that you can reach out to her. I imagine the first step, making that phone call, is the hardest, but what have you got to lose, right?
That's true.
And if you would like to be featured, definitely make a comment below, and I will reach out to you. Remember who to call for all of your fabulous real estate and life coaching needs. Make it a fabulous day.